Welcome to AI Champions. I'm your host, Chris Budihas, and joining me virtually from Corona, California is Rachel Medina with SHEEO. Rachel, how are you?
Great. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. Nah, this has been awesome. Yeah, we were talking off camera about all the great things you are doing, and so I'm looking forward to jumping right in. So, SHEEO, tell us about it.
You know, it all started from a little podcast I decided to do to unpack my purpose, turn my pain into passion. And it's still called Rachel Unpacked. And what happened during COVID was so many people, women specifically, were being forced to work from home. And they were discovering this amazing little tool called Zoom. And there's other tools that people were using. And they were listening to my podcast, learning that I built a business before, a seven-figure business from home using these types of technologies. And so it began to create a demand to learn, to grow, to explore ways that they can build businesses for themselves from home while being mothers and wives and having that time freedom and work-life balance that they've been craving the entire time when they were in corporate.
No, that's awesome. No, I seen in my own wife. I mean, clearly I tell people after 33 years of marriage, she has had, and she still does have the harder job because, like you said, we put I hate to say it, gender-wise, we put, societally more demands on our wives than we do our husbands in some cases. It might sound unfair to some of the men, but that's okay. Send me some hate mail. But at the end of the day, technology enables the ability for the spouse to do those things that kind of meet, because you want to be fulfilled, right, in life, and that work-life balance we're all trying to find between, our spouse, our kids, our work, and our passions for the things we want to do. You're kind of coaching them and having these conversations, and I applaud you for it. So for SHEEO, what are you doing in this space right now, and where are you guys going into the future?
One of the beautiful things is with our ability to understand that we're building our own business from home. We're building brands and lives that we're loving, and we're utilizing technology. We're utilizing automations. The old business was a traditional media company, and it required a whole team of people and sales reps and this and admins. And now coming into this business, we understood, we want to automate. We want to streamline any task that we're repeating. We stop and go, let's put an automation together for this. And being able to take everything that we're doing as entrepreneurs and then go into our online community of aspiring entrepreneurs and say, here's what we're doing. We tried this, it didn't work. We did this, and it did work. And then we're creating courses around that. And we're creating a lot of support systems within the SHEEO community for the women to be able to digest it, because we recognize, although we've been at this for 10 years, it doesn't mean that they're just going to know how to do this. So we have to take them from 0 to 1, and that is our sweet spot.
Now that's excellent. So I'm down here in Jacksonville, Florida, and I do some work with a number of small businesses. One's I try to volunteer and help with our Jacksonville Small Emerging Business ecosystem. So 20,000 businesses in the Jacksonville, Northeast Florida area, is the ability for most of those folks, they're learning on the go. There's really, though our local university has opened up an entrepreneurial, element within its business school, the reality of it is, really, you don't really learn this, right, until you either find communities of interest or you do get some education, via university or other processes. But the tribal knowledge of entrepreneurial leadership, and it's funny, entrepreneurs have been around since, pre-biblical times, but how do you kind of take that information moving forward? And what I love about what you're doing with SHEEO is you're taking all the things that are impacting society, like tech, to include AI, and having a conversation about, here's the things that works for us, here's the things that may or may not work for you for consideration, and you're building a community of interest, and you're educating folks. So, who should be reaching out to you, to plug in to SHEEO?
I really believe on the end user side and on the client side, a woman that knows, maybe she comes from corporate, maybe she's she could be a receptionist, she could be a barista at Starbucks, she could be a stay-at-home mom. Women have ideas. We are innovators. We are solution-based humans, we really think about how to solve, how to nurture, how to streamline things. You know, we're running households. We're the queens of multitasking. Multitasking, I speak on stage, isn't the best thing for us to be doing, but we do it. And so I think that the foundation is there for women who have an idea and want to know how to go from idea to LLC to execution and to scale. And we're on that journey with them. And by the way, you could be a woman who already has a brand, you already started, maybe you're hitting a wall. Come on in to the SHEEO X and realize, hey, let's have a conversation. On there, we have lives in there and everything, and we let people ask questions directly, and then we help you solve it. And we learn from the questions of the women as well.
That's huge, right? I mean, the iterative nature of having a conversation stuff, not only are they learning, you know, you're actually learning, and you're processing that through the community for the greater community to learn those lessons, either learned in a hard way or just learned through experimentation and execution. So, man, that is awesome. So, Rachel, a couple things you had mentioned. So, one more time, how do folks find your podcast?
So it's the Rachel Unpacked podcast. It's available on every major podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, you name it. You can ask Alexa to play it, and it is there. I launched it in 2019. It actually came after major tragedy and loss. I actually had lost my oldest son on this day, Valentine's Day.
Sorry to hear that.
And I was an entrepreneur. I was thriving. I was doing just amazing things in life and with my boys. And I had that tragedy, and it felt debilitating, and it felt like this make or break moment. And one of the things that my sons really admired about their mom is that I was a go-getter, and I got to do these amazing things in life. And so I thought, there has to be someone out there, a woman out there, who feels the weight of the world on her shoulders, on her spirit, and it's debilitating because it's difficult to be creative, and it's even more difficult to actually believe that you can execute when maybe you're going through a marriage situation or a health situation or loss. And so I hit record. I wasn't even that into podcasts. I just knew because of people on my team, a person on my team kept saying, that's a podcast episode. And I hit record, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. Well, number one, sorry for your loss. Number two, I applaud you and your courage to throw it all out there. And then, you know, as a result, I mean, you're not surviving, but you're also thriving in this space. How do folks find SHEEO X?
So you could just simply go to SHEEOX.com. We have two community platforms. We have one in English and we have one in Spanish. The one in English, you could just go directly to SHEEO.community, and the one in Spanish, you can go to SHEEOLatina.com, or just go to SHEEOX.com and you can learn all about us, the founders, and head on over and choose the community platform you desire.
Well, Rachel, thanks for what you're doing. You know, this is amazing. I appreciate you coming on. It's one, tell your story, and two, what you're doing for our for this segment of our population. You know, it's inspirational, and you're building something, right? You know, and they're building opportunities for them and their family, and more importantly, they're going to feel fulfilled at the end of the day and end of their life as a result of what you're doing to help advance their abilities based on what they want to do in life. So again, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, be in contact. All right, folks, if you didn't enjoy that, you're not awake. So go back and re-listen to it. Plug in and reach out to Rachel and I. We'd love to, you know, kind of have a conversation. What do you think? Do you have somebody in your life that should take a look at SHEEO X and you know, get in that community of interest so they could build out their business plan, and then if they're plateauing, get up that plateau and continue to scale. We'll see our next segment. Live with Gratitude.